Why AI transformation is stalling. Companies everywhere are investing a ton of money in AI. They're deploying tools that can do all kinds of stuff, write code, generate reports, analyze data, and summarize information like in minutes. But something weird is happening. Even with all this technology, many companies aren't seeing the productivity gains they expected. This idea comes from a recent Harvard Business Review article about what researchers call the last mile problem in AI transformation. There's a link to the article in the description. AI tools can dramatically accelerate knowledge work. We all know that, right? They can generate ideas faster than we can. They can analyze huge data sets in seconds, and they can produce drafts, summaries, and code almost instantly. So the expectation seems obvious. If companies adopt these tools, productivity should increase across the organization. But in practice, that transformation is not happening. The last mile refers to the gap between having the technology and actually transforming how work gets done. Many companies have launched AI pilots. Teams experiment with new tools. Individual employees become more productive. But those improvements often remain isolated pockets of productivity. The organization itself doesn't fundamentally change. Research identified several frictions that slow down this final step. First, many companies become pilot-rich but transformation-poor. They launch hundreds of AI experiments, but few become standard operating processes. Second, productivity gains often remain trapped at the individual level. People save time with AI, but the organization doesn't redesign rules or workflows to capture that saved time. And third, organizations carry what researchers call process debt. Over decades, processes become complicated and fragmented. When AI enters those systems, it often exposes the inefficiencies instead of fixing them. The result is a strange situation. AI tools work extremely well, but the surrounding organization isn't designed for them. Workflows still move at the pace of human processes. Governance systems still assume slower cycles. And knowledge is often stored informally inside people's heads rather than structured for machines. So the technology moves quickly, but the organization changes slowly. That gap between technical capability and organizational change is the last mile problem. The tools already exist. The real challenge is redesigning how companies operate so those tools can actually transform work. But there's another side to this story. Even when the technology works, there's the question researchers are only beginning to explore. What happens to us, me and you, the guys doing the work, the ones working alongside these systems? That's where the next study becomes interesting.